heart beats for all it holds. So I'm gonna let it carry me home. We're breaking free. We're breaking, oh, we're breaking free. So all this time I saw you coming from the dark. Hold me where the light looms, colors in my heart. Let me know that you are there. Let me know that you are there. Keep me close, keep me close. All this time I heard you echo through my mind. Something to believe in, faith and I am blind. Let me know that you are there. Let me know that you are there. If you can.
Welcome to the Can't Hack It Pantywaist League Command Center. Again, we are in the press room, and our press secretary is moments away. Interesting. Let's get into 8 in the box. Alright, we're going to start jumping right into our Survivor pool and our college player rights draft information. Again, that draft is happening on Super Bowl Sunday, so make sure you're ready for your college picks. And make sure you know what order you are going to be in, as we've lost another member, and that was Mr. Doom went down with the pick of the Saints to beat the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts had different ideas. So now there's your 3rd through 14th pick. Myers, who picks belong to Polton, and Gear are still battling it out. And we'll have a little more on this in a moment. And then again, do not forget that the Can't Hack It Pantywaist League is tenured starting next year, so we are going to have a CHIPL. Make sure you tell your wives and kids and the boss man that you will need time off for a weekend next summer. More information will come, and we'll go over that in the future, but start prepping, start planning now. All right, in this week's CHIPL history, we're going to go over what these Survivor picks were this season, and we'll go over some stats about it. But first, let's start with teams that were picked to win each and every week. There on the left, you'll see the teams that were not picked. So 21 teams out of the 32 were chosen on any given Sunday to win. Obviously, at least 11 that were never chosen, as you'll see there. And oddly enough, all 11 of those teams have losing records. Of the 21, you'll see these are the teams that cost you. The Colts in week 1 cost 3 of you. The Eagles in week 1 as well. Then the Cardinals week 3. The Vikings week 11 also costed 2 of you. And then the Saints took 2 of you down on different weeks, week 2 and week 14. Now these numbers here are all the times that the teams you picked to win were successful. The Colts have been picked the most, but it's over 2 different weeks. They're picked 3 times week 1, 6 times week 3, and they won for 6 of you. The Steelers were picked over the most weeks total, 4 different weeks, 1, 2, 9, and 11, and they were picked the most times successfully with the Buffalo Bills, both 7 times. Some of the interesting ones, though, is you'll see the Chargers with 4 wins to their name. This was before this last night or Thursday night's game. Were chosen 5 different times over 2 different weeks, which means half the times they win, they were chosen. A couple other teams that weren't that good but were chosen were teams that, like the Cowboys and Niners, that injuries have made them worse over. And then the Chiefs at 12-1 have only been picked over 2 different weeks. I think that's because people tend to save them for later, whether they make it to later or not. But what we really want to know about, I think, is more the times that we lost and why we lost. Here are all the teams that were selected to lose, the teams that we selected against. Now, 16 teams were selected against. That means 16 teams were never picked to lose. It's half and half. And the times that they pulled the upset. Now, the Raiders pulled the upset. They're in week 2. You'll see down the Jaguars killed 3 of you guys in week 1. The Eagles, the Washington football team, Niners, Lions, Cowboys all have pulled upsets and ruined survivors for certain owners. And now here's the times that they were chosen and they did lose as expected. You'll see the Raiders never were chosen to lose after they upset the Saints. Everybody got scared of them, I guess. All the way down to the Giants picked 10 times, Jaguars 13 times, and the Jets 27 times successfully. Those are the top 3. Now you'll see those Jets there. That's averaging about twice a week they were picked. Jaguars once a week, Giants almost once a week. Some stats overall on this for our league. 86% success rate as a league. Now, some of you lost week 1. I get that. Some of you have made it so far through 14 weeks. So 86% success rate. 71% of the picks were the team was at home to survive. Now, of all the upsets, only 3% of them was a home team. Of all the upsets, 42% of the upsets were teams on the road. 42% of the road teams picked were upset. So maybe that's something to think about next year. The Raiders, 100%, pulled the upset. And the Jets never did out of 27 chances. Now, on the Jets, here's some stats on how many times they were chosen. You'll see there, Gear and Myers on the left are still in the survivor pool, and they've chosen them, around 36% of the picks combined. They chose the Jets. You see, Doom chose them 6 out of the 14 weeks, Anderson 5, and so on and so forth. The teams that kind of made it the longest tended to pick them quite a bit, or picked against them quite a bit. But on that note, the Jets play the Rams this week, and both Gear and Myers have already chosen the Rams. So they will not get to use the Jets as an easy way out this week. And in fact, in week 16 as well, they will not get to use the Jets, as both have used the Browns. So they're going to have to actually figure something different out this week and next week to survive.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memory. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Weep not for the memories.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
We are talking playoffs, and we're going to start by talking about the number 6 Michaels team. The 123-81 victory over Doomsday in the quarterfinals, and Derrick Henry was the key to victory, and he came up clutch. He's RB1, 35 points, 215 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns.
Opposing defense. Third and short. Henry has it, and he's got a lot more. It's a foot race with Wingard, and Henry will on 48. Henry again finds a seam. Henry exploding again inside the 20. Now all of a sudden they fake the run, and the deep corner comes up in run support. Henry in for the touchdown.
The key to victory this week is going to be Aaron Jones. He did not have the best performance last week, but he is his running back number 2, and he can't just expect Henry to pick him up every time he has a bad performance. So this week, look to him to step up his game, have a big week, big night tonight, and help Michael's team to victory.
Here, Aaron Jones cuts back. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown, Packers. Trailing by 11. Quick snap. Rodgers pass is complete and into the end zone. Aaron Jones, especially on Will Harris, as Aaron Jones breaks loose. Aaron Jones, he's headed for the end zone, and he's going to be in with a Packer touchdown. 15. Pressure's picked up. He floats one for Jones, who makes the catch. Do that for window dressing. It's Jones. Aaron Jones to the end zone. It's another Packer touchdown.
Next, let's talk about number 2, Torts Illustrated. Hit a 156, almost 157 to 129 victory over Gilly Cheesesteak in the quarterfinals. Lamar Jackson was the QB1 on the week, put up almost 35 points, 163 passing, 124 rushing, 3 total touchdowns, one of those passing. And he will host Michael's team this weekend.
3rd and 3. Keeper. Lamar Jackson. Touchdown. Thrilled to have him back after missing the last 2 games, thigh injury, and on the COVID-19 reserve list. Jackson takes off. So much green in front of him for the Lamar Jackson touchdown. Jackson trying to throw for it, and he's got it. Marquise Brown hangs onto the football and scores.
And the key to victory for him is going to be the Russell Wilson DK Metcalf connection. And towards fours losses, those two combined somewhere in the 30s every time, but all of his 10 wins this year, they've averaged a score into the 40s, and almost 5 times this year they've scored about 50 points, I think 48 or higher over those 5 different weeks. It can be a deadly combo when they connect, and I expect it to be a good week for them this week, and a key if Torts Illustrated wants to find themselves in the championship.
4 here. They do bring the extra man this time on 3rd and 13. Wilson will take a deep shot. Metcalf is there, and he's got it.
Block. Stays in the block. Wilson, it as he throws deep downfield. It's going to be caught by Metcalf.
Promise you. Wilson is going to scramble now, throw, end zone, touchdown, Metcalf.
For this end of the field.
2nd and 8. Wilson fires, and then he's caught by Metcalf for the touchdown.
And here is a breakdown of the matchup. So in 2020, they played head-to-head. Torts Illustrated won 107 to about 87. All-time, Cavazos has 7 wins, and Torts has 6. They have met in the playoffs twice. Obviously, they both have a win against each other. The 2016 CHIPL Bowl was Cavazos' win, and in 2013, Cotton won the CHIPL Bowl, taking down Cavazos. In the semifinals, in their histories, Cavazos 2-1 in Week 15 of his Can't Hack It Pantywaist League history, and Cotton is 1-2. And then again, they both have 1 ring there in 2016 and 2017. Cavazos this week came out and said that Cotton is a spirit animal. He has utmost respect for him, but is he a better coach than me? Come on, look at the quarterback situation and look at mine. I'm riding Dalton, for goodness sake. His roster is stacked, but you know what? He doesn't have NCAA titles, and I was a winner at North Texas. He's projected to beat me, but whatever. LeBron said it best. I just want my damn respect, too. Cotton didn't respond this week. He said he had done enough last week when he told him that the reason he didn't choose him in the quarterfinals is because Bootsy didn't think he could handle a beat down 2 weeks in a row. Cavazos seems very emotionally fragile, so Cotton really is just looking out for him. But then both of them did agree that they think this weekend is the real CHIPL Bowl. Speaking of Clark, let's go ahead and break down his this week. Number 5, Mac Lives Matter. They won last week 141 to 102 over Team Ramrod. The running backs, Rojo and Davis, were key to victory, and they combined for about 39 points, 31 rushing yards, 46 receiving, and 3 touchdowns. They will be visiting I'm a Kittle Stitches this week in the Kittle box.
Down to the red zone. We have to score touchdowns. That is Davis with a touchdown.
Really drills those guys on how to get their hands on the ball.
We got to give Draymond Jones credit there, though, too. It looked like he got it as Davis with some nice running into the end zone.
Jones with the lead for the touchdown.
And key to victory, we're going to talk about Josh Allen. He's the quarterback 5 on the season. He's been consistent all season long. I don't think he's scored under 16 points in a single week, at least only once if I'm incorrect on that. But he is one thing is his number 1 wide receiver, Diggs, is on I'm a Kittle Stitches. So what he can really do this week, because he does love to run, is that's how he's going to kill Kittle Stitches. He has scored 3 touchdowns himself in the last 5 weeks. He caught 1, ran for 2. Obviously, he's thrown 12 over the last 5 weeks as well. But if he can use his legs a little bit, that takes Diggs out of the equation, and I think he can have a big week against I'm a Kittle Stitches.
All day. End zone touchdown. Too easy for the Bill.
Play action from Allen. Puts the man on the way. He's just trying to play action. First down. Allen taking a shot. Allen has time. Now here they come. Throwing to the end zone. Was it caught? Allen faking the handoff. He's going to swing it again towards the end zone. Wide open is Brown. Touchdown.
And then finally, I'm a Kittle Stitches, number 1 seed. He had 172 to 143 point victory last week over Tom from MySpace.com in the quarterfinals. Jonathan Taylor was the RB2 on the week, scored 29.5 points, 150 rushing, 15 receiving, and 2 touchdowns for Kittle Stitches. Again, he will host Mac Lives Matter this weekend in the Kittle box.
Just won't talk about it. 2nd down and 9. Give it to Taylor, and the burst from Taylor. He's going to break away. Taylor takes it in. Touch.
Naeem Hines at Wildcat. They want to run the ball.
Taylor has got a 2nd touchdown of the day.
And Dave Montgomery is going to be his key to victory. Amikil Stitch traded for Montgomery the last day of the trade deadline, and he was injured at the time and on a bye week. I had one coming up. But since the injury and since he's been on Amikil Stitch, he's averaging almost 24 points per week. He's averaging 135 total yards a game and over a touchdown. He's had 4 touchdowns over those 3 weeks since he's changed teams. I don't know if it's energy or if it's just the expectation, but something changed for him once he switched locker rooms and became part of the Amikil Stitch's team. And with Gibson being hurt, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire just not producing, and the Chiefs decided just to throw the ball downfield every time. He's been a huge addition, and he might be the key to Amikil Stitch's late run.
This is the 6th different starting group for the Bears in 11 games, and they open a big hole for Montgomery. A foot race through the secondary. Montgomery all the way down to the 8-yard line.
With Montgomery on 1st and 10, his running back in a hole, and then he's off with a nice tip on, and it's a foot race down the sideline. Jackson in pursuit, Reed in pursuit, he's gone to the house, 80-yard touchdown run.
In the National Football League in percentage of yards after contact. No contact yet for Montgomery as he makes guys miss. Now the stiff arm as he dives for the pylon, and that's a touchdown.
And here's the breakdown for these two. They played week 2 this year, where Mr. Clark handed a big loss, one of the 2 losses to Amikil Stitch, the 156-116 victory. All-time head-to-head, Myers is up 4-2 over Clark. I will say 3 of those 4 wins came in like the early years, but since 2018, Clark is 2-1 against Myers. They've never played each other in the playoffs. Mr. Clark is 2-0 in the semifinals all time. Myers 3-1, and they both have 1 ring. Obviously, Mr. Clark is our reigning CHIPL Bowl champion, and Myers won in 2015. Earlier this week, Mr. Clark came out. Pretty straightforward statement when asked with the media. He said, Amikil Stitch just sucks. His dad drinks Jim Beam, and he plays ball like a girl. And that's all he had to say about that. And he didn't elaborate, and he said that's enough, and everybody gets the point. In response, Myers just said, Mr. Clark has had some success this past few years. He's near the best in the league overall, but let's not forget who he was prior to that. He was the worst. And I don't know, or he said, what changed? Well, his source of information, and I know who his sources are. I'm always one step ahead. So we'll find out if that is true and who comes out victorious after this weekend. Again, we thank you for joining us for the 8 in the Box. That's right. Long live Chief Wahoo.